So guys, as it turns out now, you people are really missing out on this new show on Netflix called To Kill a Monkey. I keep seeing this on my feed, but I kept passing it up. And last week I decided to give it a go. And wallahi, I was not disappointed. I'm going to do a recap of episode 1 to 2, so just chill with me for a bit and let's get into it. And if you want me to continue, if you enjoy this, just let me know in the comments, okay? So the show begins with a very chilling scene. Everything begins with a chilling scene. So the show begins with a chilling scene of some young boys being sworn blood, body, soul, and spirit to someone. This figure, we see him in a mask, who we get to know later on in the story. So following this, we meet our main character, Efe, lamenting about his struggles. He's struggling, he's hustling, he hustles throughout the night and then during the day just to make ends meet. He's a jobless graduate. His mom has just passed away and he is looking for ways and means of, getting the money to handle her burial, her funeral services. And so we see him over here seriously begging his boss for the funds, which are just about 50,000 naira, I believe. Now, how much is 50,000 naira? Guys, so apparently 50,000 naira is just about $32. So he's seriously begging on his knees for how much? For $32. So he is begging for the money to settle his mom's funeral affairs, which gets him absolutely ridiculed by the boss. Okay, so another wahala too happens. Apparently his mother-in-law calls him from the hospital where his wife is in labor with twins. Now they need a deposit of 250,000 naira to conduct a CS for his wife who is in labor. So I checked what this 250,000 naira was in dollars, and could you guess? About $162. So he basically frantically searches for this money, begging everyone, begging all his bosses, and eventually ends up in his bigger madam's office. She's the boss of the guy he was begging earlier, so his bigger madam's office. So he begs this woman, he begs her, and she seems open to it, but then come and find out she just wants him for his body. So at first he says no to this, but then later, desperation, when desperation chokes you, what are you gonna do? So he comes into the office and basically prostitutes himself for the money. So from here we see another character pop up, a member of the Nigerian cyber crimes unit. So a woman called Mo. She's a busy, happily married woman. So her husband calls her on the phone, and apparently they have, a birthday function to attend. And so she convinces her husband to take the lead and she would meet him at the destination. And so following this, an hour and a half later, she gets to the birthday party for their grandmother. So she gets there and is alarmed to find out that the husband and the kids haven't arrived yet. And so she calls the man and is unable to reach him. She gets a call from the hospital and rushes to the hospital to see what happened to her husband. So over here, Mr. Efe is also at the hospital. So apparently the money he got from the boss lady got robbed on his way to the hospital, and so he's also frantically begging the nurses to understand his situation, and they are not giving him the time of day. So over here, a very kind Samaritan, one of the staff, calls him in and feels sorry about his plight, and she's willing to figure out a situation to help him with the payment. So over here he finds out that one of the kids died. His wife had triplets, so he finds out that one of those triplets died, and Mr. Efe just starts asking God for forgiveness. And the woman asks, why are you asking God for forgiveness? And he says, because he felt a bit of relief when he heard that news, and that was quite sad. Okay. And so we meet the wife Nosa, a beautiful and standing woman who doesn't seem to hold his poverty against him. She rather encourages him. So following this, our cyber crimes mommy, Madam Mo, is now mourning the death of her husband, who was involved in an accident. So basically the husband and all of her kids, 2 boys, they are all dead. She's replaying the incident in her mind, the interactions they had before marriage, with grief striking her, at the most unexpected times. It's a very sad scene. So following this, Mr. Efe, his greedy family members are basically attacking him at the workplace for his mom's funeral celebrations where they need money. So over here, he basically pours out his frustrations on them, calling out their hypocrisy. None of them helped him when he needed money, for his mom's health. But she's now dead and you guys are here like vultures asking about drinks and food. And are you freaking kidding me? Okay. In the restaurant during a very busy day, a bunch of seemingly big Lagos boys, as we like to call them, are there to have fun. So over here, the boss, one of their bosses seems to be interested in the young lady waitress serving them. So the lady is flabbergasted when he makes a move, an inappropriate move, which I'm not going to show here. So she rushes in, she's not willing to serve him. But a big boss lady comes out and insists that she must serve him. So over here, Mr. Ife, knight in shining armor, insists that he would take her place instead. And so in the beginning, he goes out to introduce himself to those guests who are unwilling to, accept him as the waiter because the boss wants the waitress lady. He's interested in her. We all know for what. So they are unwilling to accept him until the boss, the guy who made the move earlier, it seems he knows Ife. So he calls his name and he's like, yo, like, brother, don't you know me? Don't you remember me? And Ife is like, no, I don't know you. I don't know you like that. And he's like, yo. So he raises his shirt and he shows him a stab wound on his belly. And the guy's like, oh, yeah. You? I don't remember the name he said, but he's like, yeah, me. So, they connect and he sits him down on a chair. He about to serve drinks for him and all. And then Madam Boss Lady comes out, trying to embarrass him, about to fire him. And, Mr. Ife starts begging frantically, like, please don't fire me. I need this job. And the boss, the big boss, actually find out later his name is Obos. So Obos is just looking at him like, yo, boy, what are you doing? And he's frantically begging, like, don't fire me. And he says, yo, how much do they pay you? And Obos says, what do you mean how much? Like, how much they pay you? Let me know how much they pay you. Why are you begging so much? And he says, oh, they pay me a little over 42,000 naira. And I went to check out how much is 42,000 naira. Guys, can you imagine? 42,000 naira, $27 a month. That is his salary. He just took out a stash of 100,000 naira, placed it on the table, gave it to him. And Madam Boss Lady started, ranting about how much he owes her, and he took out a stash and gave it to her as well. And so, so the boss basically tells, why not come work for me? You are my guy, so come work for me. And Ife, he just exhales, almost like he wants to cry. And that's where episode 1 ends. This, I was so intrigued. This story, it captured me. I was, so I think you guys should check it out. It's interesting. Let me know if you want me to continue. Initially, I said this was going to be a recap of episode 1 and 2, but I'm not gonna lie, I got tired. So if you want me to continue, let me know, and you can go and check out the show yourself. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.